Hey everybody, it's Chris Thompson here from Property Portal Marketing. I am with the lovely Simona. And firstly, apologies, really. I don't know how long it's been since we did the last episode of our podcast. Probably 2 months. So yeah, there's been quite a bit happening within that time. Things have been a little bit busy for us and for agents. I think October was a relatively pretty busy month, but it has dipped a little since then. But yeah, just lots of things going on. I've moved into a new house. That's kind of why it's like this. Simona has moved into Smurf World. That's why she's got the blue background. So yeah, lots of things going on. So hello everybody. I hope everyone is well. Yeah, today we're going to talk about whether it's okay as a real estate agent to accept images and text from your owners, directly from your owners. Yeah, it's not a weird subject, but it's a bit of a rare one. But the only reason I'm doing it is because earlier this week I had one of our agents basically say, we've taken on a new property. Here are the images. Sorry, they're a bit poor because the owner has sent them over to me and has asked that I use those images. And I looked at the images and sort of went, oh dear, basically. And then I sort of looked at the description and went, oh dear. And in my head, I was sort of sitting there going, well, hang on a minute. The owners come to you directly because you are the estate agent, because you are the specialist in your area. Therefore, is it okay to turn around to the owner and say, actually, we are the specialists. You are coming to us as the specialist. We like to take our own photos and we like to write our own descriptions. Is it okay to do that, or should you accept your owner's own descriptions and photos because effectively they are hiring you? Yeah, I sort of thought, well, this might be a good topic to sort of have a discussion about, really. So Simona, what are your kind of thoughts on that?
Okay, so basically, Chris, I would accept any image as long as it's high quality, clear,
Okay.
and professionally done. So if that comes from the owner itself, then it's fine. When it comes from the owner and they took the photos with their phones and they are blurry, or I don't know, kitchen stuff left all over and so many other things that we can delve into when it comes to inside of the houses, no. From a marketing point of view and from the buyer's point of view, although it is your own house that you are selling and it's personal to you and it's a very emotional subject, the buyer or the clients that are looking for houses online, they do not want to see your favorite, I don't know, favorite stuffies, or I don't know, things that are very personal. They want to
What's
see
a stuffy?
themselves.
What's a stuffy?
Basically, the plush toys.
Do you mean a stuffed toy?
Toys. I call them like that. So I
Okay.
encounter them in images for some of my clients' houses. So yeah, there is a difference. If you're looking at this from the point of view of actually selling that house, you need to declutter and you need to take the personal things out of the house. So if the owner insists on only using his images, I think my advice would be to suggest that you go back to a time that he's comfortable with and that allows you to take your own images. If you have the time and if you're willing to do so, go take your own images and basically take the images from the angle that is most beneficial to the house or to the room.
Yeah.
Because let's see, most owners are not professional photographers, are they? So basically, they're gonna go around their house and they're gonna go in stay in the door and then just click on it. Oh, this is the room. There you go.
Yeah.
We both know there are so many layers to how you can present or photograph a room.
Mm.
to make the most of the features, or to basically destroy it. So if I have a very dark, blurry image of a living room, I'm not gonna go, wow, yes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna use your image. So I think the sensitive or the sensible actually approach for this one will be to have an honest chat with the owner, or maybe just also show him some examples of how like professional angles in images look like, and ask him to retake those images.
Yeah.
When it comes to description, again, we
Yeah,
know.
I think that I do agree. I do agree with you. I think we both know that images are key, and they are essentially the first representation of that house, right? And a lot of the, and again, this doesn't happen often, but a lot of the images that I see that come from owners, how do I put this politely? They're not great. They don't have a lot of the things that you might normally expect to see. When you are looking online. So, for example, the other day there were no pictures of the outside of the house, right? There were only pictures of the inside of the house, and even then they were pretty grainy. I don't know what camera they've been taken on, but and they were all landscape images. There were no horizontal images in there, which work better from a website point of view, and they definitely weren't high quality. But yet the agent was still having to use those images because the owner basically said, well, I'd like you to use my images. And images are a massive representation. They are the first thing that people will see. So visually, it has to be aesthetically pleasing. And whether the owner is a guy or a girl, right? or a man or a woman, whoever it is. Yeah, I think as an agent, I think you have a responsibility to, or a duty. You have a duty to make sure that whatever you're representing online is going to be visually aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah,
Um,
and we
you know,
all live in a world where today basically high quality images are a must.
yeah,
Yeah, true. Everyone is looking. So we all are looking from our phones or laptops, and they are like basically crystal clear. So your eye is trained and your brain is trained to see beautiful images, clear, and basically images that are compelling. So if
yeah,
you're putting out there an image that it's pixelated, basically it was brought to you and it's a small resolution, and you're trying to optimize it for your website and
yeah. You can't.
putting it in there, and it's gonna go and then you go, what's that?
Yeah,
So I rather not put those images or not use those images, and actually explain to the owners what is going on as a real
mm,
estate agent, and say, look, I want to sell your house and I want to put it in the best light possible. And
yeah,
if that means having amazing images, even if you're selling an apartment, so we can't compare images that are panoramic or drone images from the above with some of the villas, like coastal villas, with apartments that by nature are not going to have splendid gardens that you can
yeah,
sell, but they still have their appeal. So you can still get like a great view, or the terrace, or
yeah,
the rooftop solarium, or some feature in there, even
yeah,
like furniture. You can get the correct angle to basically present and bright, as much as bright images as possible. So turn on the lights, pull on the
yeah.
curtains. Because I know, for example, for most of our clients in Spain, some of the houses might have the shutters on
Yes, yeah,
due
yeah.
to the sun. It's just sometimes it makes the room, even with the lights on, it makes the room a bit darker.
Quite
So
grainy.
I,
Yeah,
I would actually go back there. If most real estate agents are trained to use the cameras to take good photos when they do the house tour. If they get the images delivered to them, they
mm,
should scroll through it and actually say, okay, they are the right quality, or no, we are not satisfied. So I think we are
yeah,
requesting a new set of images, or send one of our agents down there to
yeah.
take their own, like their own image. And
I mean,
maybe I
I
think
would, as an agent, I would never be. I don't think I would ever be afraid to have a frank and honest conversation with the owner and say, look, you know, you are. I'm coming here as your agent, right? I want to present your house in the best possible light I can. I know how to do that if I'm taking the photos of it. I know what my clients are looking for, and I'm able to do that. You know, it's you can't. What you can't say is I'm not using your photos because they're crap, right? They're awful. I'm not going to use them because
look,
then obviously you upset your owner. So you have to be a little bit careful with the words that you use, but you do need to, you know, don't be afraid of basically speaking up a little bit and saying, look, I'm, you know, we know what our clients are looking for, and I think with this as well, is when you go and see a house, if you've already got a little bit of information on the house, you might already, as the agent, you might already have a few people in mind who could be interested in the property. For example, you know that, you know, Joe Blogs. I love the name Joe Blogs. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll use Cindy Chicago, right? Just as an example, right? So you've got Cindy Chicago, and Cindy Chicago says to you, "Okay, well, look, I'm actually looking for a really nice, spacious, open lounge, and I must have a really nice landscape garden." Right now, if you've got an owner who sends you photos, your owner doesn't know what your database of people are looking for, whereas you
sure.
do. Therefore, having the right photos taken can make the difference between, you know, Cindy Chicago being really interested in the house and not being interested in the house. So I think it's important to try and get that message across. And it works exactly the same way for a property description as well.
Plus, Chris, I think on this one, before I before I forget, it's really important for real estate agents also to advise a bit the owner. So basically, if you're
Yeah.
going there to take photos and you see the house, of course, most of the houses are lived in. So you live in the house. It's not a holiday home that stays shut and
Mm.
everything is perfect and untouched. It's gonna be a lived-in house with everything on display. Thing is, if you're going there to visit the house and take photos, if it's also like the moment you're taking photos of the house, it is advisable to have like an honest chat with the owner and just say, look, I know the kitchen you're using, it is how it is, let's tidy up a bit the counter space and hide everything before I'm taking the photo. Or if you go
Yeah.
photograph the bathrooms, ha, okay,
Oh
just
look! Oh look! Joe Blogs, the seller,
yeah,
using
okay,
self
just
deodorant.
yeah, take out everything, like basically don't leave like the rug hanged on the curtains, like on the shower, because I've seen this in some of the images
Yeah,
in properties, and it's driving me nuts. It's like all this, I know, but it's driving me nuts. So basically, if you're a real estate agency and you're putting this house for sale, and it's doesn't matter the price, how cheap or how high the price is, I know you're there at a certain moment when the owner is at home and you
mm,
have to photograph the house. It's just allow extra 30 minutes to discuss with the owner and
yeah,
basically tidy up a bit the place before you're photographing it, because
yeah,
towels to dry hanging outside the pool or outside, I don't know, all around, and all the person, it's just not something that a buyer wants to see.
mm,
Like, it's just also about the message you're sending. I want to see a clear house where I can picture myself in and I can feel like I have space.
mm,
If that bathroom shows me like a rug to dry over the shower rail, I don't want to see that.
yeah,
So I think it is important for them also to have, the owners might not be aware of this. They are not a salesperson, they are not a marketing person, they are just regular guys selling their property. So basically they go, there's the house, there's the four walls. Here you
yeah,
go. This is it.
yeah,
You, on the other side, as a real estate agent, you also have to sell the image of the house, and not only the outside, but also the image of the house and the space and the life you could have in
yeah,
that house. So
yeah,
that goes back to images, blurry, pixelated, cluttered, mess images.
yeah,
Even if the owner insists, I think there are ways to persuade even the stubborn owner. Is like, you find the right approach.
I think you can. I think what we're saying here is that you can by all means you can accept the images. Don't dismiss them before you've seen them, right? If an owner says to you, "Look, I've got some images. I want you
I
to
said
use my
from the
images,"
beginning, if the images are top
don't
notch,
don't
yes.
don't dismiss them before you've seen them. That would be really rude.
No, no, no.
but
That's
obviously have a look at them and decide whether they would be suitable or not. But yeah, you have raised some really good points there, Simona. Just remember, Sydney, Chicago, when you're looking around
I
your
mean,
when you're looking around your house.
at the basis of it, all that people want is to find their dream house with a bright living room or bright rooms and bedrooms,
Yeah,
space around them. So basically, if that's outside or inside, to have space, like
yeah,
comfortable, cozy, warm atmosphere. So usually that goes with staging, that goes well with show homes where everything is
yeah,
generated by AI or by
yeah,
professional photographers, and you see all these clean lines where you can
mm,
picture yourself just sitting down and relaxing. Okay, it's a bit harder for lived in properties, basically second homes, resales homes, because as I said, you use that home, so the owner is like, okay, my house is not a show house, it is a lived in house that I loved and
yeah,
used, so it's a home. All But even with this, you can still, as I said, basically stage it a bit, declutter it, put it in the best light possible,
yeah,
and then do the images.
yeah. Definitely. It goes the same. I think it goes exactly the same way for the description as well. I've seen descriptions that are written by owners. And
Can I tell you my favorite today?
yeah,
Because I
go
had
on,
one today. It
go
was
on.
a ground floor flat with amazing sea views, and all the images I scrolled through showed me the terrace with a very high fence, and maybe a glimpse of something. If I like, I was like, and I was like, okay. The title, it was like amazing home with
Things
sea
see,
views,
yeah.
and I was like, the home can
There's
be
the sea view.
amazing. The sea
Should
views
be a
are there.
partial sea view. Partial sea view is what it should be. Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
yeah, description is also important. Try your best not to be misleading. So yes, you might have sea views from the balcony or something. Just mention that. But if you're using misleading titles like amazing sea views and you're a ground floor
yeah,
flat, that definitely
yeah.
goes with
I think the big thing, if
balcony.
you are going to accept a description from an owner is always going to be biased. Right? Always, because it's the house that they live in, it's the house that they've bought, it's the house that they've, you know, maybe renovated. You know, it's their home. They are always going to be biased, and as much as you, as an estate agent, as much as you are trying to sell the house, you also don't want to be over biased. So, for example, if a house was renovated in, you know, I don't know what we're in 2024 now. If a house was renovated back in, 2002, for example. Don't say that the house was
Yeah, you'll
renovated
say
recently.
recently renovated. Recently
Recently
renovated.
renovated. It's like, no, it wasn't. Yes, but my owner's description has said it's recently renovated. Right. Well, you need to have a quick chat with your owner and say it's not recently renovated. It was renovated in 2002. That's a better way of putting it.
And let's be
Um,
fair, you're renovating, even if you're painting a house and you lived in it for a year, that's basically
yeah,
already kind of used. So
yeah.
yeah, recently renovated should be within the last year, within the last 2 year maximum.
I think
If
within
it
the
was
last 2 3
2019,
years is if it's a total renovation is
yeah.
is decent. Um, I think the other thing with descriptions as well is just from an SEO perspective is the longer the description that you have, it's better from an SEO point of view as well. And owners sometimes might not realize that. They might say, they might just give you a couple of paragraphs, whereas actually what people really want when they and you out there, you'll know this yourself. What people want is they want a really good detailed description of the house, but I think they also want a really good detailed description of the area as well. And a lot of owners probably won't put that in there because they won't think that's relevant. You, as the estate agent, will know that's relevant. So, yeah, I think it's important to get the description just as good as you can. And also, at the end of the day, estate agents know how to sell houses, right? They are marketing specialists, they are sales specialists. Why not leave it to the specialists in order to basically do their jobs, which they know how to do really well. I think it's quite an important point to raise. And also there might be spelling mistakes and things like that. So obviously check the spelling mistakes before you go out. But yeah, it's kind of important. Good. All right, perfect. I think that's it, isn't it? 22 minutes. That is, I mean, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, with these things, I think the side there is a side to it, or there is an argument to it, which is, especially in Spain, which is, do you, if an owner comes to you and says, right, I've got my own pictures, I want my own descriptions, I want you to use them, right, and I want you to be very particular about the order. This is the order the images should be. This is the description I want. All of that kind of stuff. And then, do you still take that property on? Do you even take the property on if you know that an owner is going to be like that with you? Or do you sort of safely say, well, look, you know, unless you're happy to use us, and we'll do the description and we'll do the images, and these are the reasons why. If they then still refuse, do you even then take that property on? I suppose that's the next kind of side to that, is the reason why agents use images direct from an owner and use descriptions direct from an owner. Do they do it because they know that if they don't, they may lose the listing?
Thing is, on statistics, unless that property is in a well-positioned area and it's something amazing about it that is going to make it sell, if you put out there blurry bad images, chances are the property is going to stay on the market longer, definitely way longer, like weeks or months longer, just because it deters people from having a second look or a closer look to that description. Usually our attention goes title. I like it. So it checks the boxes for area you're searching or the number of rooms. So if you're going like 2-bedroom townhouse on Costa del Sol, you're going, ooh, okay, so townhouse, Costa del Sol, I'm going to have a look. And the second thing you're pressing on there are the images. If the first 2 or 3 are not showing you something like, ooh, I want to have a second look, if they're like really bad and pixelated, they're going to just log out and go like, I'm not going to look through description, because basically they automatically, somehow the brain assumes that if images are bad, something is not, it's off with the property itself as well. Just because as a client you're expecting the best, so you're expecting that a house that is amazing, like your dream home that you're looking for, and it's amazing, we're gonna have amazing images as well. Is this expectation for us to actually want to see the best out there? So if you're looking at that townhouse and you're expecting an amazing vistas, and you want to be able to see that vistas, if you're seeing something blurry, you're like going like, couldn't they just basically have a decent camera or phone to, or just pay a bit of an interest in that? So it's that feeling as well that you need to actually, after that fight with the clients, to say no, go back and have a second look. So yeah, it's very important to have clear images, good images out there, and most importantly, beautiful, let's put it this way, like beautiful images out there.
I suppose it's also, if we're going to talk about sort of accepting owners' images and descriptions, do you also accept the owner's price? Or does this need another chat?
This needs another chat. So basically, owners' expectations when it comes to price,
Always
it reflects in the money they need and they want to get from that house. It's not necessarily what the market is offering or the reality of the buyer's like price out there. So if you have an amazing home that you're in love with and you're saying, oh no, I've put all my like blood and sweat into it, renovated, and I want $500,000 for it, it's like, okay, and you're going and you say, okay, but the houses around this area maybe sell for 400K or something like this. Oh no, I want 400. You can put it, okay, you can reason with it. If he doesn't want it, you can make a test, like put it out there for a month at this price, because usually they get
Would you even do that though? I mean, I mean, is it even
It's a good
worth
property. Look, if
is it
it's a
even
good
worth your
property,
time though?
thing is, the majority of the properties I'm seeing like this, within like 2 months from listing, they go down, and they go down by like 10K or even more than that. So it's going to be a price reduction, price drop on
Yeah.
these ones. Some go higher, so some go lower. Usually from the last years, property tend to reduce, not to increase in price over the few months. So that's going to happen. So you can accept the owner's price if it's reasonable. Go ahead and
Yeah.
go with it. If it's wishful thinking, if it's in the category like, oh, I wish, okay, mate, you can
Yeah.
wish. We're going to put it at that price, and then we're going to reduce it by this.
I mean, I speak to agents on a regularly, and on a number of occasions, I have conversations with agents whereby even I know the price is too high. Even I'm looking at that price going, "Oof, a bit high." And then the agent will say to me, "Yeah, it is high." And I told the owner that it was high, but they've asked me to go with it, and I'm going with it. Now I'm sitting there going, "Okay, I understand, but isn't it a bit of a waste of time if you know that it's just going to sit on the market for 2 months?" I mean,
Yeah.
not doing anything. You're not going to generate any inquiries on it. You're not going to generate any viewings on it. The owner's just going to get upset with you. Isn't it better at the start to basically, obviously, say your piece and say that you are, the expert. The price we think we should put it on it's this price. And then if the owner still refuses and says, "No, I want you to put it on at this price," I mean, I don't know. Do you walk away from that and hold your head up high and walk away from that knowing that you've probably done the right thing? Or do you convince yourself that actually we really need the listing, we're going to shove it on anyway? I personally, I think if you do that, it can create a bit of an atmosphere whereby prices become overinflated in a quick period of time. Because effectively, if I go and value a house that I know is valued at 400,000, but I put it on the market at 500,000, what tends to happen is, I'm going to use another name now. What do we go with? I don't know. Zeal, Zeal microphone, right? There you go. There's another name for you. Let's say Zeal, two doors down the road, sees that you've put your house up at 500,000, right? The house is taken on at 500,000. Zeal down the road goes, "Oh, we're looking to sell our house as well. Oh, he's got it listed at 500,000, right? Okay, I also want 500,000 for my house." What you're doing then is just creating an atmosphere of, prices that are being fluctuated, not because of what the market conditions are, but prices are being fluctuated because of what owners want, rather than what the prices should actually be. So yeah, there's another conversation starter, is whether you accept an owner's price just to take the listing on, or whether you don't, knowing that it might just be a bit of a waste of time and you're creating an atmosphere that you don't particularly want to have.
I mean,
But that's probably needs another conversation.
so we have clients all over Europe, and we have clients in Greece and in Italy and in Spain and in Turkey, and we have clients everywhere. And what we've noticed for years now with their listing is that the majority of them are keeping kind of an average price. Like, if you, for townhouses, for apartments, and for villas, the price is kind of there. So you won't have like a 3-bedroom apartment on Costa del Sol go to 1.5 million unless it's like something exclusivist or like never seen before, newly built, top of the art something. The thing is, there is a certain price for each area, and I kind of see the agents sticking to that price for villas, for townhouses, for apartments. So you can vary. You will see variation between 10,000 to 30 or 40,000 pounds between apartments, and that will strictly, if you compare two of them, why is one is like that, it will be something about either position or the amenities or the finishes inside that will make it worth that extra money. I haven't noticed, and honestly, in the last years, fluctuations between the same like similar properties very, very high. And I think real estate agents do their job on this and keeping like owners content and the buyers content. It's just, of course, you're gonna have some of them coming out and say, I need 500,000 just because I want it, I need it, I think so. Unless you can convince the owner otherwise and just show him statistically, look, similar properties to yours are selling in this area and they are selling in this amount of time, like average 1 month, and you say, okay, we'll do it like you, as I said, for the first month, we'll put it 1000K more, and then you're gonna prove to him it's not selling, so let's put it down to that, and you advertise on that. Fine. You also, as you said, you have a valid point. If you do have enough properties and you don't want to lose your time, wait for 1 month or 2 months, hoping that, okay, someone who's gonna come along that will gonna feel the same way as owner and is gonna pay you that money extra. Then just leave it. Maybe keep it as a like a backup. Talk to the owner and say, look, we'll register it to our database. We're gonna present it to our clients somewhere. And if you reduce it or if you wanna list it to that price, then come to us and we're gonna take it full on. You can do that as well.
I mean, there is something about diluting. There is something about diluting a service. You know, it's don't degrade your service by essentially giving in to an owner who doesn't understand the benefits of having an experienced agent work on their behalf. You know, you as an agent, as I said before, you should have pride in the fact that you are an agent. You've been working in that area for a long time. You know that area. You know what sells. You know what is selling well. You know the price it's selling at. Don't be don't necessarily degrade your services or your talent by giving in to that owner just because you feel you need to take a property on. I think that's a very important point to make.
Or you can go or you can do like price on request. So if you're not comfortable with the price that the owner asks and you want to have like a leverage a bit and have space to maneuver, you can put price on request. And then if you have interest, you can ask the buyer, look, what's your budget, what's your maximum budget, and then you can see if you can have any way of going back to the owner and say, look, I have buyers interested, this is their maximum budget. If you're interested in selling now, you can take it like this. So there is a middle way somehow, I think, to do this as well. But mainly, it goes down to if you have enough listings and you're okay with the situation, are you losing your time for a few months putting on a listing that might not, that might not sell as fast as the others just because of the price? Or are you going back also, take some of your time, negotiate with the owner, explain, show him what the reality is, and take on. So
I mean, it's all about look at the end of the day, it's all about justification, isn't it? And you know, in our podcasts episodes, we've mentioned this word justification before. If you take a property on at 500,000, just for example, I mean, and I'm just going to mention here that Spain has seen a massive increase in prices. I mean, probably 5 years ago, you know, 150,000, you could find a property in Spain for 150,000. Now they are nigh non-existent. It's that the prices have rocketed that much, right?
I have
but
a
again,
few places where you can find in Spain.
But I'm not saying there aren't places that you can't find. You have to look around and you can find them. But on average, you know, prices have skyrocketed, and it's getting more and more difficult to find those properties at those lower prices.
Villas.
Yeah. But it's all justification. So first, the first point I'll make is, you know, have those prices skyrocketed because of what we've just been discussing, where owners and developers have put property prices higher, you know, as a result of just because that's what they want to do, or has there been actual justification for it? And it should be the same when an owner comes to you and, you know, with the images, with the description, with the price. If they come to you and say, I want you to use my own images and my own description, can you justify using your images and your description? If you can justify it by saying, yeah, the image quality is very high and the description is very good, great, then you can use it. If you can't justify it, don't use it. And it works exactly the same way on the price as well. You know, if somebody comes to you and says, right, well, or you go to a house and you're valuing a house and the owner you ask the owner, well, you wouldn't normally ask the owner if you were going for a valuation. So if you were valuing a house, let's say you valued it at 500,000 and the owner says, actually, I want 600,000. Well, they've got to justify that. And their justification can't just be, oh, it's because, Zeal Microphone's house down the road, right, is selling at 500,000. You've got to be able to justify that price. It might be that Zeal's house has got, an infinity pool, for example, with a really nice sunset views, whereas, Cindy's house has got a kidney-shaped swimming pool with some steps in it. Do you know what I mean? It's, and I know you don't value a house based on just a pool, but the point I'm trying to make is that with everything like this, if you can justify it, it's always there. But if you can't, then there's I've got a mosquito flying around. Hang on. If you can justify it, it's always worth going with it. But
you have a mosquito in November?
I have a mosquito flying around. Yeah.
In November.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, only one, pretty big one. So obviously, it's had quite a nice summer.
That means it's still hot enough where you are for mosquitoes.
No, it isn't actually. I mean, it's not raining, but it's not warm. It has been quite nice though. But I think they're attracted to the light here. You see, I've got a light there, and outside my window, I've got like a floor to ceiling window. I can literally see everything. But it's quite funny when the lights.
Okay, I have a question for you.
But anyway,
so you just moved in a new house, right?
Yes.
Did you went to see it based on the images on the website?
Yeah, okay. So we the images on the website were pretty decent, but it didn't tell the whole truth of the house. They weren't wonderful images, but they were enough to get our interest.
Okay.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, we were working more on price than anything else. But even so, right? The description certainly wasn't as truthful as it could have been, because the house needed a lot of work. But the funny side to that is that I got the estate agent round to value the house after we'd done all the work. And of course, being a typical owner, I said, well, I think the house should be valued at 1.6. And she went, oh, God, no, way too high, way too high. And I was just like, yeah, but I've put in all this work. I've done all this work on the house. I think it should be 1.6. She went, no, way too high. It's probably only worth, 1.2. Oh, by the way, I'm talking in Danish kroner. I'm not talking English pounds. Yeah, let's just get one thing quite clear. But yeah, it was quite funny because obviously, I'm not an agent, but I mean, I've been in the game long enough. But I was doing that whole typical seller thing of going, oh, I think it's worth a heck of a lot more because I've put money in and I've done the prices. But look, she knows the market better than I do. So at any point, if we decide to sell or whatever in the near future, I'll certainly be listening to her advice rather than, because she knows her market. So good. All right. Excellent. Well, there you are. That was me. Good. All right, Simona, thank you very much. That was good fun. And yeah, we'll speak to you guys soon.